NBA 2K22 has released, which means a whole new year of my team and a whole new wave of players playing the game. Now, if you're watching this video, you might probably be new with 2K, or you're someone who has played and just wants to get ahead of the competition. Well, luckily you found the right video. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Today's video, we are going over the top 5 tips to get you started in this year's my team on 2K22. Below are timestamps. You can kind of skip around the video. Of course, I'd appreciate it if you watch the whole video, but if you do want to skip around the video and just see the tips themselves, you can click below. The timestamps are right there. All right, without any further ado, let's get into 2K22. Let's get into these tips and let's get you started. All right, as you can see, we just got on 2K22 My Team. I literally just finished the tutorial that they released. I haven't touched anything, but the first tip, we are going to come over here, avoid this whole tab for the first couple days, if not first week of playing my team. Avoid multiplayer, especially if you are new, because you need to practice first before you go online. It sounds pretty obvious, but you need to take it to heart. You need to actually practice, because this game is not so rewarding, not so forgiving. It's kind of you know what I'm saying. So yeah, for at least the first week, I mean, maybe triple threat online, that's about all I'd say you could go and do. But for the first week, first couple days, just kind of stay clear of multiplayer. It's not really worth it. You're just going to get your shit kicked in. This brings us to tip number 2. You need to, as quickly as possible, unlock the auction house. I haven't even done this yet because I just loaded in the game. But as you can see, if you go and try to buy something from the auction house, it says you have to complete the agenda in the season agenda. Let's take a look at what it wants you to do. All right, so basically what it wants you to do, you need to collect 30 cards. Off the bat, they give you 23. So all you need to do is get 7 cards, whether that's through rewards, just somehow you need to get 7 cards, whether that's opening packs, whether that's playing games and getting cards from a reward pack, just something. To get the auction house, you need 7 cards off rip. And the auction house is very, very important. Do not slack on getting the auction house, because in order to get better players, you need the auction house. And if you are very new, and you're like,
Shane, what's the auction house?
The auction house is basically where you can buy better players. A lot of these tips are going to seem pretty obvious, but sometimes they're so obvious that you just don't even completely think about it. So it has to be said, and that's what we're doing here today. On to tip number 3. You need to practice playing on triple threat offline. Now, obviously, you could go into freestyle and you can learn the jumpers there and you can do all that. That's fine. I do recommend that. But triple threat offline gets you used to that game feel. Now, it isn't going to be as laggy or have as much latency as when you were playing online, so be prepared for that. But just learning the game from just getting it, triple threat offline is your best bet, and it's just kind of fun. So I mean, hey, go ahead. Right there, it's right there for you. This brings us to tip number 4. As you can see top right of my screen, I'll zoom in, I have 1 token. Now, you need more tokens in order to get good starter players. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you come over to the pack market tab and you go down to rewards, as you can see here, we have the token market. And when the game is just starting out and your team isn't that very good and your best player is a gold, this is very useful also because it is not much tokens to get a player. For example, I haven't done anything yet. I have 1 token. A new emerald player is 3, and that would already be my tied for best player. So it is a very, very easy way to level up your team at the beginning of the year, especially if you're trying to get that overall up, which I know a lot of us are. This leads me to tip number 5, talking about players. Do not use players only based on their overall. Use players based on the stats that they have. So basically what I'm saying here is, if you see someone who's an 83 but the guy you have is an 81, of course the 83 is probably going to be better. But if that 81 you're only looking to have shoot has better shooting stats than the 83, then I mean, hey, maybe consider keeping the 81, because all you're asking the 81 to do is shoot. It's kind of like on FIFA, how the overalls don't really matter. I wouldn't say they don't matter, because they do on 2K, but they don't matter to the extent that people think they do. I've seen many 99s play worse than 95 overalls. It happens all the time. So I'd say for the majority, probably take the higher overall player, right? But also don't just do it right away. Look at the stats compared to each player you have or the player you're trying to replace, and just judge from there. Depending on what you want that player to do, see whose stats are better in that category, not just overall. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the top 5 My Team tips to get you started at the beginning of 2K22. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you don't know what to comment, comment saucy burgers. Why not? Just go for it. We're gonna have my team content all year long on this channel, as well as MLB content. In fact, the day I'm uploading this, I am streaming MLB later on in the afternoon. Make sure to come hang out. If you're new around here, you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the sub button if you haven't already. I will give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, peace. Go play my team. It's the superior mode.
I want my money long. I want that bitch to hit the sun. Walking the Getty, I'm here for fun. Hit me fast, I'm not here for long. I wanna see how she like. This life is a cost. Are you sure you wanna pay the price? Cause I'm only here for the night.